Hello and welcome everybody to the Dandelion Studio podcast. My name is Siobhán, your host, and today I have a very special guest with me, my dear friend Andreea, and she is coming on today to discuss many things. I think we're in for a really magical and insightful time. So I'd like to really welcome Andreea into the space and thank you for being here. And please share with us a little introduction, who you are, where you're located, and maybe some of your passions as well.
Thank you so much for having me here, Siobhán. Very excited to share the space with you and your beautiful audience. I'm living in Corfu at the moment. I'm an authenticity and empowerment coach. One of my passions is to create sacred spaces for people to remember who they are so that their true authentic expression can just come to the surface. Besides that, I see myself as a truth seeker, a lover of life, and an alchemist, because I do love so much in playing and bringing in different modalities and different tools to help people embody and empower themselves with their true essence. And some of the tools that I've used so far are rapid transformational hypnotherapy, access consciousness, access bars, sound healing. That is one of my biggest passion, music and sound, quantum mechanics, gene keys, human design. And as well, another thing that I love to do is bringing people together and doing that through retreats or events or festivals. That's a little bit of what I love to do. And another thing that I love to do so much is to enjoy life and to be connected to that joy of living and to spark people in reconnecting with that joy inside of them, that purity, that desire for magic.
That's beautifully put. And I can actually attest to this because I spent some time with Andreea a few years ago. One of the things that I really loved about her is this joyful energy that she just was able to access. And it really was a beautiful thing to witness. And we also went to some dances, we hung out on the beach, we played music, we did some events together as well. Yeah, she has just such a way of being able to meet with people, connect with people. You're definitely a networker. You didn't mention that in there.
Very interesting. I didn't saw myself all my life like that. And if I remember correctly, a long time ago, I felt that I'm totally the opposite of that.
Mm.
Yeah, I felt very, you know, ashamed, or I was playing like, no, not sure if I have the, courage to go and speak with people and do all those things. And so funny that once I moved here to Corfu, everything shifted.
Mm.
It came so natural for me to just, go and start having conversation with people and, sharing my point of view, my truth, what is within me, what wants to come up. And yeah, pleasantly surprised I was how I got to meet so many people and to see, first of all, the people's responses to that. And yeah, for me, what I saw till now in my experience, the more we show up as our authentic self, and the more we speak our truth and do it from our hearts and from conviction and with passion, is something in that first of all lights people up, gives them permission to do the same, and people are much more, let's say, drawn to that kind of energy. So yeah, networking sincerely is one of the things that I love the most. It's so funny. If you wouldn't have said it now, it didn't even cross my mind, because sometimes some of our bigger gifts are exactly the things that come so easy to us, that we think like that's absolutely normal. That's nothing to it. Although, yeah, I love people. I love bringing people together. I love connecting people. I love understanding people. I love meeting people. Like when I say meeting them, I mean meeting them on a deeper level. Really understand them, like asking questions, being curious. Why do you feel what you feel? Why do you believe that? What happened in your life, in your experience, that made you choose that or that? And it's so interesting because in the last few months I'm learning so much about networking, and I had the opportunity as well to train with some beautiful individuals in a project that I keep so close to my heart, that is about plastic recycling and, yeah, changing the world and bringing something to the world of value as stewards of the earth. And it's all about networking, and it's all about what it means fully to connect with people and to build beautiful relationships. And what does that mean? As we did the training, I saw more and more how those things, I've been doing them for years and years, and they come so natural to me. For me, it's like the air that I breathe. And I'm like, yeah, I love this. That sparks me fully.
And that brings me on to another point, is the fact that you said, until I pointed it out, you kind of hadn't, well, you knew it was a gift of yours, but until I said that, you were like, oh yeah, because to you it's so effortless. And it's only when someone says, oh, you know what, you're really good at that, then you're like, oh yeah, it is a big gift of yours. And I noticed that, like, when I spent that time with you, that it is so natural to you to just be a person that can approach other people, make conversation. And I really, I really admire that, because some people won't take that step to go towards somebody or something that they actually want to do, because they might feel afraid or whatever belief systems they have. So what would you say to somebody now who maybe wants to make those steps and they're not quite sure how to get out of their comfort zone or how to approach other people?
Cool. When you said that, it struck something. I remember last year, I was at a beautiful festival here in Corfu. And at some point, I was seeing how, okay, I was interacting with people and people were coming. And so many times they were coming, and at some point, very quickly, they were leaving. And it reminded me, of my inner child, and every time she felt rejected, not good enough, not important, or, that is something wrong with me. And, all of those things that come through our minds and, mirror in our behavior to want to fit in and belong. And what I said to myself in those moments, I had to have a very beautiful discussion with my inner child. I felt, how she was feeling, left aside, that people are, maybe you're not interesting enough or yada, yada. And I knew that those were practically only programs, voices in my head. And I remember holding myself, telling to myself that it's okay, be you, no matter what happens, no matter, who's rejecting you, who's ignoring you, who, whatever, I'm here for you. Like, I understand how you're feeling. I let myself feel whatever I was feeling and being perfectly okay with that. So, first of all, not suppressing whatever is and just letting it be, holding space for myself in that moment. And then I had a conversation with Source and asked for the strength. And I said something like, Source, if by any chance or whenever I will have moments when I feel alone or I feel the desire to fit in somewhere and I don't feel that I can do that, please, whatever it is, be there for me and show me the way. Give me the strength to hold myself in that moment, my inner child, whatever she's feeling. Or if that's overwhelming for me, please hold us both. And why am I saying that? Me personally, in my own experience, I had so many moments, especially here as well, where I was going into a space, a room or an event or whatever. And from what I saw, another quality of mine is I'm reading the room very, very quickly. And I can assess immediately, what's the frequency of the room, what's the energy like, and so on. And so many times I was dimming my light, dimming my voice, dimming my energy, or in order to fit in the room. Oh, yeah, I was accepted. I was, how to say, welcome or whatever, but it was, killing me on the inside. One of the things that I learned here in the last 3 years since I've been in Corfu was exactly that, how to hold myself, how to stand up for myself, how to speak my truth, and to totally dissolve this FOMO of needing to be everywhere, do everything with everybody, and so on. And I started much more focusing on how I feel when I do something. And if that experience or that thing doesn't feel aligned, I just don't do it. And I choose myself over and over and over again rather than choosing to fit in, belong, be liked, or whatever. Another thing that I want to add on that was one of my realizations in that moment, and that I had a conversation with myself and with Source, was that if I don't fully step in who I am, whatever that means, how can I attract my tribe, my soul family, the experiences that I need to bring forth what I know deep in my heart that I came here to do, to anchor the vision that I have of what is possible. Yeah, many, many other things. What I'm sharing from the heart is the moment we let ourselves be us fully and completely, unapologetically, first of all, we will attract inevitably the people, the circumstances, the experience, the gifts, the blessings, the resources that we need to fully fulfill our purpose. And there's no better gift that we can give the world than our authentic expression, because that's our own medicine that we're here to share with the world. And as well, through that, we allow other people to do the same.
End interview. That was, yeah, I couldn't have worded it any better than that. It was, as you're just speaking that, I'm like, yep, 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 yep. It's so powerful. It's so true. Even myself, over the last few years, this has been a major theme of mine because for the longest time in my life, I would not speak up. I would not stand for myself. I would just sort of fall below the surface just to keep peace. And I know now I can't do that because I feel in my body I'm abandoning myself. And I just cannot do that anymore. Yes, maybe some days I have moments that are more speaking my truth, and I might meet another confrontation or something and I might shrink a little bit. I'm not always 100% perfect, but I have the awareness to know I'm not speaking fully of what I want to say. And I just cannot abide by that anymore. Like you said, we're here to be exactly ourselves as Source made us. And we were raised in situations in families with societal expectations that just want you to shrink, that want you to dim, that don't want you to put your head above the clouds. And it's like, no, we can't do that anymore. So, yeah, you've made an absolutely amazing, amazing point. And I really do think that this is one of the biggest points of our whole journey and purpose, which is actually where we're going to go to next. Andreea is a great champion of people and their gifts and enabling them or assisting them to spark, as she says, to light up what is unique to them. One of the things that Andreea talks about a lot is our purpose. And so I just want to ask you, Andreea, in your perspective, what would you define as someone's purpose?
Thank you so much for that. Yes, this is, I feel, one of the subjects that I love to talk to about the most. For me, purpose. Sincerely, after all those years, what I came to realize that purpose is, it's a sacred fire that burns inside of us, is that soft whisper that we get in different moments or experiences, is those moments when we get completely lost when we do something, wherever it is, an activity, experience, watching the sunrise, having a conversation with a loved one, singing, dancing, painting, wherever, or just speaking our truth. And I do feel that, yeah, it's something that it's so embedded in our DNA, in our bones. It's exactly what we came here to anchor. For me, purpose is totally linked with our authenticity. For me, purpose is totally linked to our divine essence. For me, purpose is totally linked to, as well, our inner child. Because it's all about what was always within, before society told us who we need to be, how we need to look, what we need to say, and all of those things. So when we peel all those layers, when we dissolve, the chatter in our minds, when we just are and we can just be and we listen, purpose is something that, brings you joy, something that lights you up so much that even in the moments where you might be physically exhausted, you have no idea how you have so much power and so much energy and force inside of you to keep going. And another thing, I do feel that purpose, it's about our contribution. It's about service. The fruits of the tree don't belong to the tree, they belong to the ecosystem. And our gifts and whatever each and every one of us has here and embodies are the contribution that we came to offer the world, because on a higher level, we are all pieces of the puzzle in the grand, beautiful tapestry of life. And it's not that one is more important than the other or anything like that. Our unique expression, our unique gifts, our purpose, it's exactly what the world needs to remember itself, to thrive, to shine, to evolve, and to fully alchemize everything that's happening around us in the most highest, purest expression.
I remember a while ago, I did a constellation session. I think the crux of the message was if we don't use our life force energy towards our unique gifts, passions, the things, as you say, that we came here to do, all this energy gets stuck in our system and we can end up making ourselves sick because we need to use that to move forward in the directions of what we are here to do and create. And I just want to take a note on that because you do your hypnotherapy, your rapid transformation therapy as well. And we did some Access Bars consciousness when I was with you. So Andreea is a great person to be able to actually see where you're blocking yourself, where you're not actually allowing the flow of energy to come out so you can express yourself fully. And some of the sessions I did with her, even in that short time, stayed with me. And I came back to Ireland. And one of the first things I did was, right, I'm going to start my business now. I'm going to do my sound therapy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my astrology, everything. It all came because I realized what use am I to just sit back and not actually engage in the world and to show and share what I have. You spend so long, at least for me anyways, hiding yourself through whatever may have transpired in your childhood, whatever one teacher or two teachers might have said, your parents, whatever, that then diminishes this beautiful light that you are. So you owe it to yourself and your inner child to bring that beautiful expression out, no matter what it is. It could be just gardening, it could be baking cakes, but it's you, it's all you. And every intention that you bring, this purpose with this energy, it activates the whole field and it's your expression, your love. And that's exactly all you need to do. It's actually really simple when you think about it, don't you think?
Everything is much more simple than we think. And on that note, I wanted to add something, a quote that when I heard it, it just landed so deep in my body and in my bones. And it was exactly what you were saying. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you don't bring forth what is within you, what you don't bring forth will destroy you.
Wow, I got goosebumps.
Oh, me too. Every time.
Can you say that one more time
Yeah.
for everybody?
If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you don't bring forth what is within you, what you don't bring forth will destroy you.
Literal goosebumps again.
I know.
Oh my God.
I, f- I felt it so, from what I understood, I'm not the, it's from the Gospel of Thomas or something like that.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely like gorgeous. And I feel it so true, so
Mm,
true, at least for me, because what I realized till, well, not so long ago, I was feeling so depressed, so empty, so unfulfilled, so, unhappy. And in reality, besides, following society's expectation or whatever we are told and so on, the reason why I was feeling all of those, what that I wasn't bringing forth, what was screaming
mm,
inside of me, what was my unique expression, what was my gift. This is something that I'm sharing with everybody,
mm,
every person I meet, wherever they are, in whatever circumstance. I always let them know, speak your truth, whatever that is. Know thyself, learn yourself, discover it,
mm,
play, and do what you love. This is one of my things. I love making people make lists, write lists about what do they love to do,
mm,
what brings them so much joy and sparks their soul, and do more of that. I do feel with all my heart that, again, that's linked to our purpose, to our inner child, because we all had something or some things that sparked us so much when we were little that we love to do. And we were like, nothing else matters. We were just completely lost into it and in a state of flow. And those are exactly, the gifts
mm.
and what we came here to bring, or different variations of that.
Absolutely, yeah. And going, asking the questions of your childhood as well. Like you said, what in your childhood did you love to do that was just effortless? And one thing for me was just, so I'm saying, I think actually everything is so simple. I loved drawing. Like I would just create all of these imagined spaces and places and probably stuff from other lives. I know for sure multidimensional things like spacecraft, all this kind of stuff. I would draw it all out and I would be immersed in it for hours, like I wouldn't even notice anything around me. And as I got older, it was such a part of me that I didn't see it. It's like we said earlier when I said about your networking. You're so used to it, you don't see it. It was only later in life when somebody said to me, "Oh, wow, like you are an amazing illustrator." And it was just like, "What? Can't everybody do this? Like, isn't it just something that everybody does?" And it's not. So sometimes I'd say go back to those memories and think about things that, again, as Andrea said earlier, they might seem so easy to you. Well, they're probably the things that you need to bring forth because they're just our natural gifts and abilities. And obviously, there are things that we can master and work on, and we will study and learn for too. But it's those things that you just think are so effortless, like breathing. We kind of covered how do people find their purpose? Because to be honest, I believe it's those things that light us up that just feel like, I just want to do this, bring us joy. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to anybody about finding their purpose if they're still unsure?
I will reframe that with finding their purpose. And I will put it in a different wording. We are always in our purpose 24/7. There's nothing to be found, is omnipresent every single moment, and it's within us. The only thing is, are we peeling the layers or whatever was on top of it to fully let it radiate out and remember that we're always in purpose 24/7. And for me, that was such a big deal because at some point I was like, oh, I'm not in purpose if, I'm not putting myself out there, sharing my offerings, doing that, whatever. And then I was like, I'm in purpose 24/7. I change people's lives or I'm inspiring them, even if I go to the grocery store, even, with any person that I meet, just by being me, just by smiling, just by giving a compliment, because this is something that I love to do. I love empowering people. That's my thing, always. So this is something that just radiates out through me 24/7, whatever I'm doing. I'm the one smiling, I'm the one, giving compliments and all of those things. This realization that, we are always there. Sometimes our minds, no, sometimes, so many times, our minds are imprisoning us or creating false realities that aren't and block us, from seeing what it is there in front of us. That we lose the essence. And I had that experience even more last year. I went with some of our beautiful brothers and sisters, and we did the first edition of an amazing festival, Ancient Future Festival. Next year, we will have the second edition to that. And I had the opportunity to do a plant medicine ceremony with one of our dear brothers, the first ever I had, because usually I'm like very mindful and selective of, who I let in my field. And, like the people I work with have to have a very big level of integrity, first of all. And what I was shown, because the first thing that I asked, the question that I asked, like, please show me what do I need to do or what else, do I need to be or whatever to step into my purpose. And I was ready for anything, like whatever comes, whatever is shown, like, and I had the most beautiful experience ever in my life, the most gentle, loving, nurturing experience. And the only thing that I was shown, like, you are already in it. You are already, there's nowhere else to go. It's not it there in the future. It's not after you achieve whatever. It's not, you are living it. Can you get out of your own way and just be it and just let yourself continue to radiate it out? And I was like, wow. Oh, okay. It took me a while to just, because the mind comes with so many distractions and complicates things when, how you said, things are so simple in the essence. For whoever wants to embody or anchor in more of who they are and fully live a fulfilled life, remember, first of all, you are always in purpose through whatever you're doing in that present moment. Your purpose can evolve as you evolve. It can change as well. It's not something fixed. And it's exactly what sparks your heart, your soul, what, comes effortless to you, that comes, flowing, and is something that brings you joy, supports you in being in flow, and it's always a contribution to the people and the world around you.
There we go, another mic drop. Sometimes you just leave me speechless, and I'm like, that's it, I've got nothing to say. No, but to your point, to your point, I remember some time ago, I think I was in maybe meditation, or it could have been a dream or something like that. Back when I was also asking those questions, like what am I supposed to do here? Why am I here? Blah 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 blah. And just came this moment of clarity where it was like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of, you exist, that is your purpose. You have life, that is your purpose. Anything else you do with it, it's up to you. But I was like, what? What? What do you mean? That's it? And it kind of just tore all these shackles off, because for so long, you go to school, university, you get a job, you do this, and it's like, I want to get a house, I want to get a car, I now got a promotion, and you have all these ideas of what living and having these achievements means you're successful, and the irony is, you're a success by just existing. You don't need any of these other things to live in your purpose, because you're a living, breathing, incarnate soul from source. And that is it. That is it. So I know for so many years, and probably yourself included, we searched everywhere for the answers. Where's my purpose? Who am I? Then comes a point where it just all reawakens in you that everything is literally here in every present moment. We choose to be ourselves. That's all we need to be and do. So this podcast episode is actually turning in. It's absolutely beautiful. I told you it'd be magic, but I feel it's so simple. It's just so simple, and that's why I'm laughing, because there's no big dramatic answers. It just is what it is. And Andreea has a beautiful way of expressing it, but the message is simple ultimately.
Totally.
I love I love these kinds of conversation. It's like, well, where else do we go? Because we've just covered so much here for people that are listening, and it's okay as well to be in situations in your life where there might be things that you want to change, and that maybe you're going to a job and you don't really like it, and you're in that in between period. And I know it's scary because I've been there myself. But as we say, there comes a point where even in your body, your soul, you just know that this isn't, it was right for a time, but there's something more. For those people, Andreea, how do we step into our alignment? How do we make the next part of our journey if we're deciding on what to do and how to do it?
Thank you, my love. First of all, what comes to my field, or what I had to do to get here, is unlearn everything that we have been taught and start relearning everything that your soul is calling you to. And that's more a concept of the mind, meaning we have to let go of so many things that were put on us that aren't true for us. A beautiful brother of mine slash mentor as well told me once, in order for you to find yourself, you have to stop doing all the things that you are doing, because they only took you further from who you truly are. My realization after so many years of, searching and all of that, and trainings and modalities and whatever, was that we have, exactly how you said, all the information, all the wisdom, all the codes, all the knowledge, everything and anything, and so much more beyond that we think we have. What is so important, or what was so important in my journey is learning how to trust myself, because it took me 30 something years, literally. Last year was the year when I fully started stepping in my power and seeing as well that some of my best friends, family, mentors, and people I admire so much that at some point I put on a pedestal because, they've been doing this maybe longer than me, or doing that, wherever stories I was telling myself. I saw as well that I saw things, felt things with so much accuracy, but I wasn't trusting it. And because of that, I was giving my power away, asking people, what do you think about that? What do you say about that? What's your point of view? Either way, if you have people you trust in your life, it's always a beautiful way to just have a conversation and ask for a point of view. Don't take it as absolute truth. See how it feels in the body. Another thing that I want to share with all the people that are listening, one way, and everybody can play with it, so easy. One way to see what's true for you as a being, doesn't matter what the truth of somebody else is, we're talking about us, is whatever is true for us will always feel light, relaxed, and expansive in our bodies. Whatever is a lie or untrue for us will always feel contracted, tense, constricted. So that's a very good indicator to play with, because at the beginning, even I was like, I was asking and my body was feeling something and my mind was like, nah, I'm doing that. And I did that a few times till I show myself like, no. The body knows much more than the mind. And then at some point I was just following the energy and how it felt in my body and stopped listening to the mind. I have a saying in my field, like the mind is only here to, keep my beautiful curly hair and, make sure that water or rain doesn't fall in my throat. I'm not listening to my mind or anything like that. I'm listening to my body. I'm listening to my heart. I'm listening with everything that I am. So first of all, listening to our bodies and the wisdom that they have, trusting ourselves. And I would link trusting ourselves so much as well with inner child work. And why am I saying that? Because if our inner child doesn't feel safe, first of all, I do feel that our inner child holds the nuggets, the gold, the gift, the magic that, we have inside of us. And in my perspective, our inner child on a quantum level is the union between masculine and feminine. For me, the inner child is the neutral point, observer point, balance point, still point. The part of us that is so anchored in the present moment without any filters of duality of anything else, so connected to whatever is, so connected to the vastness and unlimitlessness of everything that is possible, far beyond what the mind, can see if it's possible or not. What I saw in my experience, the more I cultivated and focused on my relationship with my inner child and healing it and listening to her being there for her to be safe, for her to be able to express, for her to speak her truth and, you know, um, be whatever it needs to be in the present moment without any judgment. The more what I was not started to dissolve, the more the voices in my head that probably weren't even mine, you know, like the critical voice and stuff like that, started to give the volume lower. The more I started experiencing so much magic, I'm like, how does it get any better than this? And it always freaking does. I'm like, at some point, a few years ago, I was like, okay, I think my heart will freaking explode if this gets any better, but what else is possible? And then at some point, I'm just, this is the normality. This is the norm. And yeah, I'm a living embodiment of that. Although, in order for us to get to that point, we need to trust ourselves. And first, we need to build a connection with our inner child because it depends on what we have been through and experience and whatever, patterns or things we perceived, from our caregivers, our parents, our society. Then, because of the coping mechanisms that we created to, be part of the world, we took ourselves more further than we should have of our inner child, of our wisdom, of our knowing. And many times our inner child doesn't trust us. So the moment we start, rekindling that connection, being there, like praising, loving, doing things that spark us, again, connecting with the joy, with the things that we love, and all of that is something that we have to cultivate daily. It's not you do it once, 2 times, and you're done. No, it comes over and over and over again. Although at some point it just becomes your norm. And even though we have moments where, we're wobbly or things happen, we're not so much affected by them, or we're not what's the word, identifying with them anymore. And the more we build trust in ourselves, the more we build trust in life, the more we build trust in the magic and miracles that, are available for us, what else is possible, that, and I feel that by that we are connecting with such unlimited force within us that's connected to the source above. And we can literally shift and create anything and everything that we want and above. And it's all about being present. And another thing that I might add to that, so again, trusting ourselves, building that connection with myself and knowing that everything is just a mirror of that. The moment when we have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, and nothing to defend, and we let all our walls and barriers down and let them dissolve, then we have the awareness to perceive things for what they are and to be so connected to the unlimited forces and eternal forces that are always around us, the abundance that's ever flowing in every second. And we can align to it, and then we can create magic. And every single one of us has the same power, the same strength. They have that this possibility exists for them. It's only about choosing it. So one of my things and what I want to anchor in this beautiful world is helping people remember who they are, supporting people in embodying and remembering their spark, their essence, their gifts, and for them to fully step into that. Because when we heal something inside of us, we're healing it as well in the collective, and we are giving other people a chance to do the same. And it's like, I water you, you water me, we're watering, this beautiful planet, this beautiful world. And the synergy of everything that is created is far beyond what our minds can fathom. Hope that responded to the question.
You did. Yeah, there was a couple of things that I was gonna pick up on because I'm trying to remember exactly what it was I wanted to mention because it's something that I really resonated with as well. It was something about the personal power. Ah, that was it. So when you were saying about trusting yourself and trusting your decisions as well, because one of my next questions was going to be, how do we reclaim our personal power? And I think it's all a part of our journeys where we were so used to maybe taking other people's advice and asking questions from other people that we didn't actually find our own voice, and we maybe made decisions that weren't coming from our body, from our truth. And so a lot of, especially for me over the last few years, it's been about actually sitting with myself and being in those moments where I have a decision to make. And yes, of course, I have friends, trusted people that are in my life, and I can ask them the questions, hey, what do you think about this? But there came a point where I realized, yes, I can get that advice, but ultimately I have to be the one that makes that decision. And it can't be for someone else's expectation or, especially in family systems where you may have a role to play in your family. And then when you start to leave that, that's when people are like, hey, well, what are you doing? You're trying to break free of those limitations and those things that have been put upon you. But that is it. That's how we reclaim our personal power, because we are always the one, as Andreea said, that gets to choose how we move through life. And yes, of course, you can ask questions and listen to your friends' advice, family advice, but ultimately you'll feel again in the body whether it's right for you or whether it isn't. Even if you've got, say, two options and you're deciding which one, it's still coming from you. And even if it's not exactly the direction, it might be the next step. Maybe there's a bigger step to take. But as long as you're making the decision, it's coming from you, you're in your power.
Beautiful how you said it. And it's so true. I want to share my personal example. And hopefully other people will receive some inspiration. It's so interesting, that we did this beautiful podcast, and it's all about purpose. Because I have been in the last month, I think, something like that, dealing in a process of shifting or letting go of something that I knew as my reality in the last 3 years, to fully surrender once more to something totally unknown, to something totally unknown, because I felt deep down inside it's taking me closer to my purpose. And for example, living here in Corfu was such a beautiful experience where I'm so grateful because it helped me connect with myself. It helped me and supported me in healing my inner child, healing and cultivating the relationship with my inner masculine, with my inner feminine, and, coming more into union and stepping into my power. And a few weeks ago, I came with at a cross point. What am I doing? Am I staying here in Corfu, or I'm going? And I was like, if I'm going from here, where am I going? Because nothing is clear. The place didn't appear, the next steps. And very funny, I knew it from January, full on, like, although the mind came with so many other things to say, I had it in my field that from January, very soon, this chapter is ending. But the more I came to, the time that it has to end, my mind went crazy. And so many, fears came up, doubts, insecurities and stuff like that. And it took me a while. Again, I had some resistance for a few weeks. It was a process. And another thing that I want to say to people, honor the process. Whatever it is, honor it, because it has gifts, it has things, lessons that it will bring to you. And if you try to jump some steps, you will have to go back to, redo them. And I just surrendered to the process of not knowing, of I'm scared, if I'm going, where am I going, and so on. Although I felt in my heart like I was being called to step up. I was being called to, for me, this comes to the devotion that I have for my mission and my vision. And I do feel with all my heart that sometimes we just have to, surrender in such a way and leap. Like the vision has to be so anchored, the devotion for that. And whatever the mind says, whatever patterns might come, whatever people are saying, because I had a lot of people saying, oh, but where do you go? But look, you can do that here and that and that and that and that and that. And I was like, no, it feels like if I stay here, I would say at my comfort zone, I'm used to it, I'm comfortable here. It doesn't stretch me. Sometimes we need it, like our soul is ever expanding. The moment that we become comfortable, that's the wake up call. Out of your comfort zone, because our conviction and our comfort zone don't live on the same block. Like one it's in a city and the other probably in another country. It's such a, and listen to what comes from within. Listen to what comes from within. Because if we are present, it will speak. If we are fully present, we will look, in our external reality and see that so many things are giving us signs. Go that, do that, do that. The mind can come with a notebook of why you shouldn't. But don't follow what other people are saying. You know it. We all know it. Trusting and surrendering, and ask source, God, universe, however you address, please show me the way. Please, I'm feeling lost, or I don't know what to do. That's the best point in our lives, when we don't know what to do. Oh, perfect. That means anything and everything is possible. That's a blessing to be in that unknown. And again, make a reframe everything, because you can see the unknown as something scary. I had it as well. And then I choose to see like, oh my God, but you can imagine, I was talking with my inner child, but you can imagine how much fun we can have. We don't even know who we will meet, what we will do, what opportunities, will come. And another important thing that, in my opinion, is linked to all that we talked. making space, making space, letting go of everything that doesn't serve us. Even if it's old beliefs or point of views, things that we have in our house. Oh my God, how many things I had. I had to sell. I wanted to say half, but it was more than all the things that, like, literally more than half of the things that I had. And that's why I couldn't go, because I was like, I have too many stuff. Of course. I don't resonate with it. Why do I have them? And making space and making this was something that wasn't always easy for me to do, because so many times I had to let go of people. I had to let go of old identities, old stories, old things that I think I loved, maybe dreams that I pursued that weren't in alignment. And sometimes it felt lonely. It felt so freaking lonely. Although, again, the devotion to the vision. What's your vision? What are you wanting to call in? If you could have anything as your life in the next 5 years, if money, time, energy, space, resources weren't the criteria of your choice, and you could choose anything, anything to create as your life, to have as your life, to be as your life, what would you choose? What would you want to experience? And just sit with that. What would you love to do? How would you show up in the world? How would you feel? What kind of people would you have in your life? What kind of lifestyle? What kind of service would you bring to the world? What experience would you choose to have fun? How would you, express yourself? What kind of money would you have? What contribution could you bring into the world? And just sit with that for a bit and get a sense, of that energy, not the mind, but the energy that's, in your body, in your field. And do that exercise a few times and create that, frequency. And then start being it, letting it guide everything that you're doing. Let it, having it in your field when you make a choice, asking yourself, if I do this thing or if I choose this, will it bring me closer to what I feel that my best version of life could be? And just starting to cultivate that and connecting to that energy will produce so many shifts in your field, in your mindset, in your body, and as well create the space to calling it in, and being receptive to that. And from there, I believe with all my heart that you will start experiencing so much magic, so much ease, so much fun. And the more you embody that, the more the world around you will mirror.
I'm so glad you mentioned that point actually, because we were talking about decisions earlier, and just before you said it, I was thinking, so we must have picked up on the same wavelength, that in any decision with the vision you have, does this take me closer to that vision or does it not? The things that I see, that I know, that I want to experience, does this take me closer to it? Yes or no? That's it. Wow. We're nearly at the end now because this has been Andrea, you just have a natural way of wording things and expressing things. And I just think all the work that you've done to reconnect with your inner child, to bring that joy out of yourself. I really just feel this energy in you that is just ready to burst out to the next step, however that is looking. And one thing I want to mention actually again is that leap of faith, that devotion to self and to our journey that we at some point have to surrender so hard to the unknown. And I love what you said about reframing it. And in my mind, I was also thinking to my inner child, oh, isn't it exciting that we don't know? It's exciting, and there is fear too. I can't deny there isn't fear, but it's like this whole brand new canvas that you get to paint now. And energetically when your time is done somewhere and that you're doing a disservice to yourself. And it is a scary process. And again, I absolutely agree with Andrea. Just feel the process, honor it, because there's things inside that maybe you haven't felt and it's going to whir everything around. But with that comes the clarity, with that comes the expansion. And so, my dear, before we wrap up this conversation, which has just been an absolute mic drop after every time you finish a question, I have two final questions for you. What is your dream? What is your vision for the future?
My dream, what I envision, and what I'm calling in, and doing my very best to anchor for me and for all humanity is to create a world where love, grace, harmony, peace, kindness are our default. A world where we're so connected to ourselves, to source, to each other, and the planet, that we have so much reverence in everything that we're doing, knowing that each choice that we make will always have an effect on everything else, where we willingly come together in unity, in community, in communion, to express our truth, to share our gifts, to share our talents, to inspire each other, to support each other, to collaborate in anchoring heaven on earth, in anchoring the frequencies and of integrity, of truth, of kindness, of equanimity, respect. A world where we're just starting to dissolve or harmonize in such a beautiful way that we shift all of this duality. Things are like that or like that, and we just surrender to our knowing, to our beautiful radiance, in creating such a sacred container where we are blossoming perpetual, motion. And where we just feel safe, feel nourished, where we remember that we are stewards of this beautiful earth and we came here as guardians. And we start taking that role seriously, where a world where we can live our lives more like a ceremony, holding in high regard everything that's around us and each and every person. A world where we are reaching inner union and that beautiful, peaceful place within us that just harmonizes everything else, where our inner child can feel safe and secure to always come up and to, share the knowledge, the wisdom, the nuggets that they have. And the world where we fully and unapologetically let ourselves be all that we are, take the space energetically to do that, knowing that the more we are true to ourselves and embodying our truth, we will always have respect and reverence and love to another person. And we will always, want to support them. Yeah, it's such a. I speak of those things and I realize that although they seem so far from the times that we're living in now, for me, they echoed like such a deep remembrance of something that we used to live. And I know that one of my missions here is to anchor this more and more into the field, into this beautiful existence, and supporting each other as we are remembering who we are and are walking each other home.
I'm with you.
I know. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for our beautiful journey together. Thank you for being you. Thank you for everything that you supported me in seeing about myself, about life, the mirror that you have been. And thank you for the inspiration as well, and for this beautiful opportunity to step up and speak of things that really spark my heart with the intention to support others to remember.
Andreea, it's been an absolute honor. I am literally blown away by this conversation today. It might be one of my favorite actually that I've had. I and it makes me laugh as well. And I hope Andreea doesn't mind me saying, but the other day she was a bit panicky about coming on and doing things. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know what to say. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you absolutely do know what to say, and I know you'll be amazing. And there she goes again, just showing me that she knows what she's doing. And to trust in yourself as well. Trust, as you said earlier, trust in yourself, because when you get in the flow, in the zone, you have just such a way with words, with energy, picking up on frequencies. You have it. So I want you to know that as well, because you do a lot for others. And this is me telling you also that you're amazing. And I'm so, so grateful that we connected. We shared some time together in beautiful Corfu. We've got to know each other over the last few years. And, the vision that you shared is something that is deep in my heart, and the vision that I have for humanity as well. And I really, truly do believe that we will see those times. So, 1 final question to you is, This is an easy one. If people would like to reach out to you, if they'd like to see your offerings, the work that you're doing, how can they get in touch? What is the best way to connect with you?
Whew, finally, one that's easier. Thank you, my beloved. So, if people want to connect with me, work with me, see, anything that I'm creating, or who knows, maybe collaborating as well. I'm totally open and receptive for that. I love collaboration and, coming together, networking, my thing. They can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Unfold into Synergy. That's my beautiful, I don't want to call it brand. I don't even know how to call it. I always had that thing. Um, let's say the space that I created for all that beauty to unfold into synergy. Or, reach out to my personal account as well on Instagram. It's Andreea with two E's, underline BEZ, or Andreea Bezdedeanu on Facebook. For now, those are the places. There I have as well my Linktree profile with all the other offerings, all the other, places that they can see more of what I'm doing. And yeah, thank you. And I will share it as well on the recording. I'm so beyond grateful that you started doing this, my love. Because first of all, you are a natural. This is so you. I feel it. I see you in the space that you created as well for this to unfold. And not only this, the other beautiful episodes and other beautiful people that came and will come as well in the future is absolutely magical. So thank you for your service as well, my beloved, and the contribution that you bring into the world, and especially in my life.
That's absolutely beautiful. And thank you again. And yeah, this has been an amazing episode of Expression Sessions. And if you have any questions, any feedback, feel free to either send me a message. I'll also post Andrea's handles and everything for Instagram and Facebook. So you'll have those. And yeah, I feel like I need to lie down and to integrate all that beautiful magic. So thank you all for listening. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Take care.